Welcome to the room. Welcome to Enter the Room.
We are
How was
in the
your
room.
day?
It was great.
In the room. We are in the room. We are in the room. How was your day?
It was good. I just got in from work, but I'm ready. Let's do this.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Just a quick few announcements to let everyone know. Thank you for joining us this evening. I would appreciate if you have any questions, hold them off because there's a certain point during the interview where I'm going to ask if you have any questions you want to submit to Laura, I can bring you into the room. Just let me know in the comment section, or you can send a request and I will bring you in. But other than that, welcome to Into the Room. Thank you so much for all of those who are returning and for those who are joining us for the first time this evening. My name is Saundra Nicholson, and I am the host of the podcast Into the Room. And so I sure appreciate everyone for showing up and showing your support and seeing our wonderful playwright that we're going to be speaking to and learning more about her. And that is Mrs. Laura Vines.
Hello, hello.
Laura is originally from North Carolina, and she ventured out her way out this way back in 1982. She's a former veteran. Well, she is a veteran, and so we want to thank her for her service. And she's a resident of Oceanside. And I would say probably from my understanding by being in that area, she's loved the ocean. She's a nature enthusiast as the way she describes herself. She's also a mother and a wife. And she's a fabulous woman that supports her community and her church family. And she's formed a community theater drama team. So we want to hear more from Laura about her writing and what inspires her and all those good things. So thank you for joining us this evening, Laura. And when I was going through your bio, but I was also looking at some of the pictures that were really, 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 really nice. And so you started a long time ago in writing back in 1997. And your first piece that you had written was called Going Home. What inspired that?
Yes, that was the first piece that I wrote and actually presented to a live audience. I was looking through my little chest where I keep all of my plays last night, and I found a play that I had written earlier. And that was way back in 1993, but I never presented it, so I forgot about it. But I was like, whoa, here's a play. But anyway, both of those plays were inspired because I was thinking about my mom. My mom passed when I was 17 years old and in the 12th grade. And so years had passed, and I had gotten married myself and started my own family. So just, started reflecting back and missing mama like anyone would do, So some of the thoughts I had, I would jot down at, different times, maybe in journaling or something like that. And that's how I came up with the play. The first one was I Love You, Mama. And I was thinking about how much I loved my mama. And so that's how that came to be. And then the second one was Going Home. And I thought about the things I needed to do to get ready, to get prepared, to go home to heaven, to be with my mom. And so I just started thinking about a lot of things. I thought about packing a suitcase, all the things you have to put in a suitcase, get ready for a trip. And so on a spiritual level, I was thinking about I need to get my life together, get my life right, have a relationship with the Lord so I can go home and be with my mama. So that's what inspired those two.
So that was wow. So that's a powerful, that's pretty, very pensive, a lot of self-reflecting and thinking. And was your mother, well, obviously it was about your mom, but was it, um, did you have someone playing your mom, or was it the aspect of your mom transitioning, or was it, I'm trying to picture out, was it based off, did it have to do with the death of the final hours of her life, or just a reflection of her whole entire life?
Just a reflection of her whole entire life and just missing my mom. And, as a young person, 17 years old, there's a
Right,
lot that I did not get to experience with my mom. Like some people who have their parents, they're well in
right.
their senior years, and the parents get
Hmm.
to experience their children and that type of thing. I never got
Hmm.
to experience that. And so,
Um,
there's different
mhm.
things that can trigger memories. And so just
Right.
thinking and quiet time and just missing
Hmm.
her.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't want it to be a sad thing.
Right,
So we had
right.
fun with it. And I always try to have fun with my plays. I try to include a message in the play to
Uh-huh.
encourage others. And I try to have laughter and have fun. But I
Right,
just use a mixture of things
right.
to get the message across and to get the play out there. And so we had fun doing it, and we pretended like we were going home to a family reunion. So we had
Oh,
Uncle Buster, we had Aunt Dottie, we had cousin so and so. And so everybody, you know how we get together at family reunions and everybody have their specialty. Everybody has an
right.
Uncle Buster. Yeah. And so everybody has that drunk, everybody has that old wise uncle or someone,
Right.
in the family. And so we depicted all of those parts in the play. And someone who could sing and dance, and we let the
Mhm.
kids get out there and they did their little thing to Michael
Right.
Jackson's song, and they just had fun with it.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to have fun memories at a family reunion. And
Mhm.
a lot of times we have fun memories. Sometimes we have
Right.
drama, but a lot of times we have
Right.
fun memories. And so that's what was reflected in the play Going Home.
Oh, it sounds like it was a lovely production. Did you have a large cast, or was it a large cast?
We may have had probably 60 people or so. And that's because I used our church children's department, the youth department, and the adults and senior adults. I wanted all of the age groups represented. So we would get together, and that's
Nice.
kind of how I started getting together with my church school class, my Sunday school class, and we would do
Uh-huh.
things as groups. So
Uh-huh.
I grouped everybody together to do their little parts, and people are more willing to participate with a group than they are by
Yeah,
themselves.
right. By themselves. This is true.
So
This is
that's how I
true.
got the younger people or the people who were nervous about doing it. That's how I got them involved. But it was through my education department at the church.
That is wonderful. So during that time, and going home, and not only just going home, I would just imagine, um, even from that point on, you found yourself, you found the formula, right?
Yes, yes.
That
I,
that Go ahead, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'll wait till you
Oh,
finish your
okay. No,
question.
what
I'm
I was
sorry.
saying is that you found you discovered a formula that worked for you. And one
Hmm.
thing that you just said is that you find that people work better when in groups than when it's just themselves. They feel a little bit
Right,
more comfortable.
right, right.
Um, do you when you're looking for participants? Are you looking for people who've had some training, or people who are fairly new to it, or people who are thespians? When you're doing and do you do your own casting, or do you have someone to do the casting for you?
No, I do it all. And
Whoa.
what I'm looking for most of all is committed individuals. I
Hmm.
have not had training myself. I am not a professional. We're all volunteers.
Hmm.
And so actually I'm looking for a willing worker and someone who's willing to be committed. And the commitment is being at rehearsals, memorizing your lines,
Oh, yes.
and just working together as a team with the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
commitment, yeah, that's what's involved in being committed.
Do you find that that sometimes working with actors who may be very trained, but their disposition is not all there. It's not up to par. Do you find yourself, because I find myself when I have done casting and worked with actors, no matter how good an actor was and doing their lines or whatever, if they weren't committed, if they didn't show up to the rehearsals, I would I would rather work with someone who may not be all there. I feel confident enough, like I can get you there. If you're willing to do the work, I can get you there. Have you found yourself ever in a situation like that?
Well, yes. Well, usually when I look for a particular person to play a character, I
Uh-huh.
already know their personality. And so
Hmm.
one thing that's unique about my writing is I write around people's personalities,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
it makes that character, I'm doing my message, but I'm combining that person's personality to the character in the play. And it
Right.
makes it feel natural to them. And it kind of flows because that's what they normally would
Do it
do or normally would say
anyway.
anyway.
Right.
Yeah, and so
Right.
that's unique about how I write. And we're all people with people issues, so I understand that sometimes people have issues with getting to practice. And so
Hmm.
I want to take that in consideration that we all have emergencies or what have you. So I don't try to kick somebody out of the production because they don't make it. I understand that.
Right.
And so
Right.
I try to work with them, and that in turns help them to want to work with me. And so it's a win-win situation.
Situation. Do you when you're working with the cast, do how long does it normally how long do you normally prepare before you actually put the play up? Like, do you rehearse for a month or two or
I wrote the play in August, I believe. We started practice in September and we presented it in August. I mean, in October, I'm sorry. So it
okay,
didn't
that was
take
good.
long. Yes, it didn't take long. We had, you have to go back to back and get those rehearsals in close together so people can remember their things. If too much space is in between your practices and presenting the play, you kind of lose the momentum. So, yeah, that was the last play, and it varies a lot of times with the Easter plays and the Christmas plays I used to write for church. When I would
Hmm.
finish Easter play, I would start, I give myself a break, maybe a month, and then I would start writing the Christmas play. And we would start practicing maybe October in preparation to present it in December. So maybe a couple of
Oh,
months. Yeah.
maybe a couple of months.
Yeah.
And when you're doing your play, do you it how do you fund it? Is it that if it's a church play, do they have a budget for you? Or is it if it's outside of church, do you fund it yourself or do you look for investors?
Hmm.
Because I know production can get kind of costly,
Yes,
very
I
costly,
agree.
in fact.
Yeah, for the most part, it was funded through the budget at the church. We had a drama
Okay.
ministry, and so I had a budget to work with. And because
Oh, okay.
I have been doing the plays for so long, I would keep my props stored away. So I wouldn't have to
Uh-huh.
always replenish everything. We had some things in
Uh-huh.
storage, and I might have to buy a few things to go with it. But with
Uh-huh.
the church, it was with the budget. This last play, I funded myself, but with the ticket sales, I was able to replenish most of it. So
Oh, nice.
it kind of worked. It worked out, but we were a new drama team, the community drama team, and we were putting ourselves out there. And I didn't know how it was going to go. None of us knew. I was praying hard, but we didn't know how it was going to go. But we kind of estimated if we sell X amount of tickets, we'll get the money back that pays for the facility. So, and pay for some of the other things. And so we did
Right.
that and it worked out.
Right.
Everybody worked hard at getting that accomplished.
So I believe you're speaking of Sunday morning, correct,
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Yeah, Sunday. So what is the premises of what's the synopsis of Sunday morning? What is it about?
Well, Sunday morning was about a community that had gone through incident. They had a fire in the neighborhood. It was a crisis in a sense. And so the
Uh-huh.
neighborhood had kind of parted ways. Some people left. Some people decided to stay. Some people were disgruntled, and they figured out throughout the play that we need to
Typical
come
church
together.
folks.
And that's the thing. Some of them were church folks and some weren't. But we figured
Okay.
out in the play that we had to come together and work together. If we can
Right.
work together, put aside our
Hmm.
differences, different cultures,
Hmm.
different ideas, different thoughts, the young against the old against the young, if we can put all that stuff aside and work together,
Right.
we can build this, we can rebuild this community. We can
Right.
rebuild this neighborhood. We can rebuild our church. And so that's what we did. Everybody came together and there was transformation as a result of them working together. They saw a new side of them, or they saw an area that maybe they needed to work on as far as, do I
Hmm.
have any prejudices against anybody? Do I feel a certain way against this
Mm.
group of people?
Hmm.
And so we had
Hmm.
to think about those things all throughout the play and realize that we need to set those things aside and come together and work together. And as a result, there was
Hmm.
transformation and we became a better community as a result. And we were excited at the end.
Wow, that's and that's any organization, be it church or be it a community group that's involved. Anytime when you're doing community work,
Yeah,
you have to work as a team for it to be
right,
successful.
right.
So that's even though it was centered around the church,
Hmm.
but it's a general message when it just
Yes,
comes to dealing with people across the board. Because, like you say, you're
yes,
dealing with different people from different demographics
yeah,
and whatever have you, and socioeconomics and
right,
just different situations that people are faced with on a day-to-day basis,
correct.
particularly living here in America. So
Yeah.
that's awesome that you came up with using the church world as a lateral instrument to replicate or what a lot of people go through on their
Mhm.
jobs or whatever
Right,
have you. So that's
right.
a beautiful thing. Do you when you let me ask you this, when did you realize that you want to write plays?
Mhm. I never really had a desire to want to. I just kind of fell into it. And I think, like I
Uh-huh.
was sharing with my first play, I was writing down notes, just
Uh-huh.
thoughts and memories of my mom.
Of
And
your mom. Uh-huh.
when I sat down and compiled those notes and kind of put them in sequence and like I was talking to someone, it all
Uh-huh.
just fell together and it was like, "Ooh, I got to play here." And I
Wow,
still
that's
wasn't
amazing.
confident. I still wasn't
Uh-huh.
confident in trying to present it or anything because, like I said, I
Uh-huh.
just came across it last night and looking at my material, and I'm thinking, wow, I never did do this play. But just reading through it, it's a great play for Mother's Day, and when you're just reflecting on Mama,
And
and
that's interesting. That was your first play that you never did. You ended up doing something else, but it set the tone for you to start writing and
yes,
start thinking in that
correct,
direction, right? And
yes,
so and you didn't know when you was writing that was really preparing you to be a producer and a
right,
director.
right.
So isn't it amazing how, yeah,
Whew.
that's our experiences are never wasteful. I always say the Most High never wastes whatever we go through or experience. He uses it all. He uses it all.
Everything works
So
together for good. You don't
yes,
understand it when you're going
yes,
through, but eventually it does. Just keep trusting. Just keep trusting.
yes. Yes. So, are mostly focused on gospel playwriting, or you're open to writing secular, plays that could have a crossover secular feel to it?
I'm not against writing plays in the secular world, and I don't have any plans, but if I do, I'm a Christian, so whatever I do is going to have a Christian component to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
my daughter reminded me quite often when I wrote this last play Sunday morning, don't make it too churchy, Mom. And so that's one thing I have to always remember, don't make it too churchy, because you want to be able to meet everybody, not just a select group of people.
Because everybody, right, that's true. And everybody's not in the church, and everybody doesn't believe what you believe. So you have to figure out a clever way how to deliver the message, the integrity of the message, even though it may not, like I said, it may not even be set in the church scene, but there's a moral compass to the story, basically. And that story still has to, story still has to represent the message you're trying to get over. In your case, the message of Christ. You believe in the Messiah, so you come up with creative ways to get the message or get the gospel out to the masses, which I think is a wonderful thing. Do you, as a person who is a writer and a director and producer, what would you like to see more of in the entertainment industry, be it film, theater, or television?
Ooh, I hadn't thought about that. I don't know. I enjoy movies with a message. Regardless of who the actor or actresses are, it doesn't have a message to it.
Right.
So I enjoy movies like that. And if I had the opportunity to present something in the secular world or any other